Hello, this is Fedena support, and today we are going to learn about the core modules in detail. The whole of the core modules it will be completed in this webinar. So let's get started. So before getting started, I would like to let you know that basically there are four kinds of user that can log into this application. The first user is the admin who has got all the sole privileges, and then comes the parent login, the student login, and the employee login. When it comes to the parent login and the student login, the privileges are fixed, and but when it comes to the employee login, the privileges can be varied up based upon the task he or she has been assigned. Now let us say that if a particular person or an employee who is basically a librarian, so he will be given the librarian privilege so that he will have access to the librarian data and he would be able to manage the library. So that's all about how the privileges are dealt up with. Now let's explore the admin login so that we can explore what all things are available in Fedena right now. So the default credentials are always admin and admin 123. So whenever you log into your application using the URL that you have been provided with, you will land upon the login page, and there you need to write up the credentials in the username and password field respectively. So before starting up with the Fedena, you need to configure some settings. So you can go to each of the settings part and configure. As you can see that the UI has been changed. We'll be talking about the UI changes in the end of the webinar. Now let's get started with the settings part, as it is preferred to be done prior to the using of Fedena. Let's go to the general settings. First of all, in general settings, you let the application know how the how your school is all about. So basically in this part, we tell the application more about our school. So we write the school or college name, the school or college address, the phone number, and then specify whether the school has daily wise attendance or subject wise attendance, and then the finance year start date, finance year end date are to be entered. Then comes the starting receipt number. The starting receipt number is a place where you write the receipt number of the first receipt that will be generated from your application, and then the rest of the receipt numbers will be the auto incremented value of the one that you will be entering up. So this would further mean that, let us say the receipt number of the first receipt would be KA001, then the rest of the receipt numbers would be KA002, KA003, and so on. Then comes the language. So here you need to enter your preferred language, and then the time zone, then the country code. The country that you are in can be entered up here. Then the currency type. Please note that the currency type that you will be entering up is really important, as this currency type would be used up in all the financial transactions made with fees, donations, or some other income or expenses. So this is a currency type that will be used up. Then we have added something here called the precision count. So precision count is a place where you this restricts your application to use a precision count up till 3. So if you are going to manually type something more than a 3 precision count, the application would not allow you to do so. Then we have the upload logo, where you need to upload your logo of the school. So let us say the logo of the school uh, is uploaded. So once it is uploaded here, it will be available in the login page, the logout page, and all the receipts that would be generated from this application. Then comes the include grading system. In include grading systems, the CC, CWA, and GP are available. These are the extra grading systems that are available in Fedena. Apart from this, if you have marks or marks and grades kind of evaluation, we can use it. So this is used by default. So this grading system would include the The ones that we'll be checking up here will be included in your application. Then comes the Moodle URL. So if you want to have Moodle in your application integrated, so you need to type the Moodle URL here, and then the Fedena will be integrated to your Moodle account. Then comes the theme. So Fedena is available in all exciting themes like orange, dark blue, black, green, yellow, blue, and gray. So you can choose any of the themes for your schools. Then we have some other checks up here where we enable the auto increment student admission number. Once you have enabled the auto increment student admission number, the student admission number would be the auto increment value of the first student's admission number. Let us say that your student admission number of the first student who is getting admitted is S01, then the subsequent students would be S02, S03, and so on. Then we have the enable auto increment employee number, which means the same that you do for student admission number. And then we have the enable news comment moderation. So this allows you to enable the news comment for your admin. So this would further mean that once a comment is being uploaded by any of the users in Fedena, this has to pass through a moderation by the admin himself. Then we have enable sibling, where we keep a track of all the siblings and then the first time login change password. So we preferably ask the clients or the users to use this application, to use this option, as this helps you in managing the security checks. So by default, as we know that a student would have a username of the admission number that he has. So let us say that the admission number of a student is S01, then the corresponding username would be S01 and the password would be S01123. The same goes for the employee, whose employee's admission number would be his username, and the password would be the employee admission number followed by 123. And then the enable OAuth is the place where you will be able to log into your application using your Google credentials. So once you have applied it here, and then a rest of settings are to be done, and once these settings are done, you will be able to log into your application using the Google credentials itself. So once you are done with all the settings, now let's update the part from here, and now you're all set to start how Fedena is. So you are all set to start Fedena. Now once this thing is done, now you can go to the dashboard again, and then you would like to manage your course or batches. So let's go to manage course batches, where you preferably add some courses and batches into your institution. So on clicking manage course, you will be redirected to a page where you will be seeing all the list of all the courses that have been created here. So if you want to create a new course, just click upon the new link from here and then type the course name and then the section name, which is not mandatory actually, then the code name, and then specify the grading system, whether it's GPA, CWS, CC, or normal. And then once you are done with the course name, you need to type the batch details. Like let us say that I'm going to create a course with the name of grade 1, and then the code G1, and then a batch with the name, let us say, A2013. So this would mean that I will be able to create a course name with the name grade 1, and the first batch of this course would be A2013. This is how you need to create some courses. Further, if you want to create some more batches into this course, then you can directly go to the particular course that you need. And then hit upon the new button from here and then start typing the name of the batch. Let us say it's B2013, And then we have an option of the start date and end date of the batch. And after entering the start date and end date of the batch, you can use the import previous batch subjects or import previous batch master fees. So this further means that if you have a batch and subjects and master fees are created from the batch that was created before this, so those subjects and master fees would be imported into this current newly created batch. So you need not to create the subjects once again for this newly created batch. So that's all about how what we can do in the courses and batches. Now let's go to the manage subject link. So once you are done with the managing of your courses and batches, you would like to manage the subjects in your batch. So you need to go to the particular batch where we have created the course. Like let us say we were in G1A to 2013. So here we get two options, add normal subject and new elective group. To add normal subject, let's just click upon add normal subject, type upon the name, code, and then the maximum weekly classes that can be allotted to this subject. So once you have reached up the maximum weekly classes limit, you will be getting an error from the application saying that the maximum weekly classes for a timetable for this subject has crossed. If you want to continue, you can also do so. And then comes the option of no exam. This could be of great use in places where the subject doesn't need an examination. So you can just click upon this and then a subject will be created which won't have the feature of creating examinations for it. Then the second group of subjects is the elective group subjects. So first of all, you need to create the elective group from here. Let us say I'm creating an elective group with the name of elective, or let us say let's make it as professional elective 1. And hitting the save button, this group will be created. And further, to add subjects into this, just click upon this particular group and then add subjects. So this adding of the up of the subjects in the elective group is same as in that of a normal subject. Once you have done it, you will be able to assign each of these subjects to your students. So this was all about the courses and grades and the batches. Now let's go to the manage student category part. In manage student category, you will be able to create some new categories for your students. So this would be quite handy in cases where you would like to categorize a student into different categories. Like let us say you have some categories called local, hostlers, staff students, physically handicapped, and so on. So if you have this kind of categories in your institution, you would like to create some new categories from here, and once this is created, this will be available while making an admission for your new student. Next comes the add admission additional detail link, where you will be able to add some additional details for your students. Like let us say that you have some Fedena always comes up with all the generic or the basic set of fields, but apart from the ones that are available in your instance, if you would like to have some more fields for your student, then you can use this add additional details, where you would need to type the name of the additional detail. Like let us say I want to have the passport number of all the students, or let us say medical history of all the students. So I need to type this from here and then specify whether it is to be read as mandatorily filled by the for each of the students, and then the input method, whether it's text box or text area, select box or checkbox. Having completed this form, you can just hit the create button to create an additional detail field for your students. Now let's plunge upon to the SMS module. In SMS module, you have all the settings like SMS settings and all. So let's start off with the SMS settings. So for the first time when you will be logging up to this, you will be looking up to this, you will be having this application. On enabling this application part from here and updating it, you will encounter all the list of all the options from here: the student admission, exam schedule, attendance, events, send SMS to parents, send SMS to students and employees. So this would further mean that once you have clicked up this part, every time a student is admitted into your institution, and SMS would be applying upon to the respective students. Then the same thing happens up when the exam is scheduled or a result has been published, and SMS will be going up to the students. And then the attendance and events. So whenever the student is absent, the ward, the parent would get an SMS, and then the same thing happens up in the events part too. So whenever you schedule an event, an SMS will be applying up to the respective students who are concerned. And then send SMS to parents, students and employees. As the name suggests, helps you to send SMS to parents, students and employees respectively. So once you are done with the settings part of the SMS part, then you are allowed to send SMS to students using this, and you need to select the batch and then the students to whom the SMS is to be sent. You can type the SMS from here, and then on clicking send SMS, the SMS will be going upon to all the students. The same thing happens up in the SMS to batches, where the whole batch will be sent. Send SMS to employees, sends an SMS, the desired SMS to each of the employees, and the employee departments sends SMS to the employee departments. And then we have the send SMS to all, where you will be able to send SMS to all the users in the application. Then the SMS logs can also be monitored using this SMS logs option from here. So, but please note that the SMS settings that you need to have, or the account you need to have, it should be taken up from a third-party SMS API provider, as Fedena doesn't come up with these inbuilt SMS settings. So having finished up all the configuration part, now let's move upon to admitting up of a real student. So let's click upon the admission link up from here, and when you click upon the admission part from here, you will be redirected to a page where you have to fill the form so that a student will be admitted. So here you need to type the first name, like let us say the name of the student is Sam, and then some of the other fields are to be filled, like the middle name, the last name, and the course and batch that he or she is in. Then the gender, the date of birth are to be filled. Since it is a part of demo, so we will be skipping off some of the details, but we recommend you to fill up all these fields so that you will be able to fetch the correct data of all of your students. So now you have the option of entering about the blood group. You can enter the birthplace, and then the category that you have created in the student category link will be used up here. So you need to select upon which category the student belongs to, whether he's a local, hostlers, staff students. And then we have some other settings, like if you enable this SMS features for the student, the student will be able to receive your messages, and then if you enable email features, the student will be able to receive the emails what all is being sent. You have the feature of uploading the user photo even here. So once you have entered all the details, now the step 2 of the admission redirects you to enter the sibling of the student. So let us say that if this particular person, Sam, the student Sam has a sibling in the same institute, so you will be able to add this student. Like let us say we have a student with the name of Abhishek, who is actually a sibling of this particular student. So you can just click upon this particular person, and then all the parent data of Abhishek would be copied to that of the current student, that is Sam. So this would mean that the wards would be able to log in to application using any of the logins of each of any of the wards. Now here is the previous educational details, where if the student was in some other institution, so you can type the name of the institution and then the course, the year, total mark that he has scored, and then hit save and proceed. And then comes the fee collections. So let us say that the student has come up in between an in SEM or between a academic year. So the fees collection would have already been created for this particular person, so for all the whole batch. So you can just select upon the which particular fee collection will be reflected upon to him. You can even skip this part. Then comes the additional details that you have created from the additional details settings. So here you can see that we have a variety of fields, like the passport number is to be entered, and then the medical history, the additional field 1, agent 1, and all these are the additional details that has been created. So once you click upon save and proceed, the student admission profile would be coming up. So this would include all the details that you have entered up for your student. So this is all about how a student can be admitted into your application. Having entered all the details of your students, if you would like to search a particular student, so you need to type the name of the student or the first 3 or 4 letters. So this application would give you a search result of all the matching names, and then you will be redirected to the profile by clicking upon the name of the student. Moreover, we have this advanced link where you will be able to make all of your strange searches. Like, let us say you are keen upon having the list of all the students who have a particular blood group, and then on hitting the search button, the whole institute, the whole number of students, or the whole list of students who have the blood group B positive will be available here. You can even get the PDF report of the same. So this is what the student details does. And then let's go to the human resources. Human resources is the place where you manage the teachers or the employees in your institution. So before going up onto human resources, we have this HR setting. So let's click upon the HR settings to create some settings for your institution. So we have this add employee category, add employee position, and so on. So let's click upon add employee category, and then we would be able to create some categories for employees, where which would be reflected up in the employee admission page. Then you need to create some position. So each of these categories will be having a particular position, so you can create some different positions for the categories created. So you need to type the name of the position and then select the employee category, and then on hitting create button, that particular position will be created in the desired category. Then we have the employee department, where you will be able to add some departments for your employees. So you will be having different departments in which you have a certain fixed number of employees. So you can create some department along with the department code, and this is to be entered up, or this is to be selected up from a drop down that will be coming up while the employee is being admitted into the application. Then you have the add employee grade, where you need to type the name of the grade, and then the priority, and then the maximum periods per day or per week, and then the create button would help you to create a grade for your employees. Now let's go to the add payroll category. In add payroll category, you will be able to create some different categories which are to be available in the payrolls of the employees. So To create a category, you need to type the name of the category, like let us say I'm creating here bonus, or let me change it to as some other name. Let us name it as bonus 1 and specify the percentage it should be, and you need to specify of which pre-created category this is percentage is to be included up. So like let us say we have this bonus, and this bonus is to be a certain part of the basic pay, and then include that whether it's a deduction or not. But the bonus is generally not a deduction, so we would be clicking upon the creating link, and once this is hit upon, you will be able to create a payroll with the name of bonus 1, which is of exactly the 10% of the basic pay of all of your employees. So this is the generic payroll that we will be creating. So if you want to create some special payroll categories for each of your employees, then you will be able to do so in the other parts of the HR module. Then we have the add bank detail. Supposingly you would like to have some bank details of your employees, so you can create the name of the field here, and then on clicking the create button, the bank details will be created along with the bank name. Then we have the add additional detail, which is exactly same as the additional details that we have created for the students. So here this works exactly the same way that it works for the students. So here you'll be able to create some additional fields that are not present in Fedena. So you have the option of typing the input method, whether it's text box, text area, select box or checkbox, and then specify whether this thing is mandatory or not. So this was all about the settings available in the human resources. Now let's go to the usage of the human resources. So to use human resources, now let's first of all go to the employee management. In employee management, you have two links up here which says employee admission and employee subject association. So let's enter the detail of a dummy employee first of all to know how an employee can be actually admitted. Since we have used up the enable auto increment employee number from the settings part, you will be able to get an auto incremented value of the employee number. Now let's type a first name of an employee with the name of, like let us say Mary, and then the middle name, and then the last name, and then the email, and the gender is to be specified whether male or female, date of birth of the student, and then the department, the category, a grade. So these are to be entered for each of the employees. You can enter the job title, qualification, experience info, total experience, and the personal details in step 1. Now filling up of the step 1 would lead you to step 2, where you are asked to enter the home address and office address and the contact details. So you need to enter all of the details up here. As this is part of demo, so we are skipping out this part, but we recommend you to fill up this form since it would be necessary while retrieving data from the application. Here you need to type the bank account number and bank name, and then comes the additional details part, so where you need to type the details that are required for your institution. And then on hitting save and proceed, the additional details will be created. Now this part of the employee admission is actually the most important part, where you specify the employee that this employee has to work under which privilege. So let us suppose that this particular person, Sam, is a person who handles up all the student management, like straight from the admission to student control and student view, attendance register, attendance view, and applicant registration. So then you can click upon student management, and on hitting student management you can hit the save button. So this particular person would be able to handle your students. And then the step 5 would be to enter the reporting manager of this particular person. So reporting manager is generally the manager to whom the person who is getting admitted into the application has to report. You can type the name of the student, like let us say name of the employee, like let us say we have this employee called Surya, and Surya bearing the employee ID of E6, and we entered. So once you selected the profile, you will be able to create the payrolls of the student. So as I have said that the basic payroll has been created for each of the students, for each of the employees, and then so once entering the basic pay, if you have done the settings correctly from the payroll category of the settings part of the HR module, the rest of the things will be calculated of its own. So as you can see that these all options like DAT and all are connected to the basic pay. So once you have entered up this, the rest of the values will be auto calculated, and then on hitting finish you will be redirected to the profile of the employee. So this would mean that all the students all the employee who has admitted into the application can be admitted into this particular institution in this fashion. Having admitted an employee, now it's time to associate an employee to some subject. So in employee subject association, what we basically do is we map an employee to a particular subject, so that particular subject can be taught by that particular employee for a batch. So let's click upon employee subject association, then select a batch here, and then the subjects here. So now you can select the department from which you need the teacher from. So on clicking any of the teacher, Sir Anthony would be the one who from the academics department would be the one who will be teaching Hindi for 10th A 2013 batch. So this is what we do when we associate the employee to a subject. Having completed this employee subject association, now let's plunge into this employee leave management. In employee leave management, as the name suggests, you will be able to manage the leaves of all of your employees. So here we are able to create some leave types. You can create a leave types for your employees. Like leave types would include the CL, EL, or the casual leave or earned leaves with a leave code and the maximum leave count. So for each of these leave types, there will be a maximum leave count which is to be for a particular period, and then you can enable the carry forward. So like let us say this for this particular period, if some of the leaves are balanced, so the balanced leaves can be carried forward to the next period. So here this is the way how you should be adding up all of your leave types. Then comes the attendance register. The attendance register looks like a real register once you have selected the department, and if you have some employees into this department, you will be able to see a register which looks like a real register actually. So you can mark any of your employees as absent. So Fedena by default marks everyone as present. So if you want to mark some of your employees as absent, then click upon this, type the leave type, and then the reason for the absence, and then hitting the submit button, that particular person will be marked as absent. As you can see that the current date is marked in yellow. So today's date would be marked in yellow, so it would be quite easy for you all to mark the to mark the absence of a particular employee. Now let's go to the attendance report to see the report of each of our employees. So to see the reports, you can select a department, you can select even all departments. So and now these are the leave types where you will be able to see the CL, the EL, and all the with the corresponding leave codes. Then we have something here called the reset leave, where you will be able to reset the leaves of all of your employees. So we have this leave reset settings here, where you need to set the reset period, and if you want this to be set automatically, you can also click upon enable automatic reset and then the count begin date. So these are the settings, and again this reset can be done for each individually for each of these employees. This can be done department wise for all the employees in a particular department, and then reset all would reset the leave count of all the employees in the whole institution. Now let's go to the create payslip, which is actually of more important in a school management ERP. So basically when it comes to the payslip, we have this two-way process. So first the person who's in charge of HR has to create a payslip, and then the person who's in charge of finance has to approve this payslip from his or her own account. So as admin has the sole privilege of any of these employees, so basically you can just create a person who create an employee with the privilege of finance. So the person who's in charge of finance and the person who's in charge of human resource can be differentiated. So but in this particular demo that we will be showing up, all the things will be done up from the admin account. So now let's go to selecting upon employee to create a payslip. So to create a payslip for any employee, you need to select the department here, and then select the employee for which the payslip is to be generated. You need to type the basic pay. Now let us suppose that this particular person has all this. Just a second. You have to type the basic pay, and then the rest of the values will be auto calculated as these settings are done from the HR settings part in the payroll. So moreover, if you want to create some more categories for this employee, you can also do so by using this add individual category. So add individual category basically creates a name in amount of the category and then specify it whether it's a deduction or not. If you don't want to create it, you can just hit upon this cross button to undo the thing that you have done recently, and on clicking create, the payslip with the corresponding amount for each of these payroll categories will be created for that particular person. So this is how you can create payslip for an individual employee. And then you have this one-click payslip generator, where you will be able to generate the payslip of all of your employees at once. Then at a point of time, if you feel that the last payslip that has been generated has some faults in it, then you have this one-click payslip revert, where you will be able to revert your last changes. Then as I've said that if this a payslip generation is payslip process is basically a two-way process, which has to be approved first of all, which has to be created by the person who is in charge of human resources, and then it is to be approved or rejected by the finance person. So if the finance person rejects an employee's payslip, so this will be available in this particular link, rejected employees payslip. If any of the payslips of an employee has been rejected, so this will be available in this. So now currently we do not have a person whose payslip has been actually rejected, so we won't be finding it any here from this instance. Now let's go to the employee search. So it works just like the student search. So you need to type the name of this employee here. Like let us say we have just used a person with the name of Samson. So on clicking Sam, I will be redirected to all the lists who has a matching name. So Samson is the one with the matching name here. So you'll be getting the Samson person, the profile of the person, and then the advanced search helps you to make an advanced search of all the employees, just like the case of the student search. Then we have the employee payslip, where you will be able to view the department wise payslip of all of your employees. Like you need to click upon any of the department and then the year, and clicking view, you will be able to view the payslip of all of your employees. So we have just created a payslip for this particular person, Delnas of Department Academics. So this will be available here. So this is all about the human resources module. Now let's go to the finance module. So this is the home page of finance, or the finance dashboard, where you'll be able to deal up with all of with your transactions, like may it be the fees or the donations or the other expenses and incomes. So let's start off with the fees first of all, as fees is basically an integral part of any institution. So once you click upon fees, you will be able to see all these features like create fees, schedule fee collection, collect the fees, and so on. Let's go to create fees first of all. So the create fees link comes up with all the links like create category, create particulars, create discount, and generate fine. Here you can find some of the new features up here. So the create category is a place where you will be able to create a master category for each of your employees. Then you can add a description for the category created. Then after having created this category, we need to select upon that to which all batches this particular category is to be affected. So basically we create a template here, and an empty template basically. So in the empty template that we will be creating for all of these batches, we will be stuffing it with some particulars. So again, to create some particulars for any of your fee category that you have created just now, you need to type the particular name. Let us say tuition fees, and then a description, and then we have this option of creating the particulars in three ways. If you want to create this particular for all the persons in the batch, then you can click upon all in the selected batch to be more specific. Then if you want to have a particular for a particular student, so you need to type the admission number, and if you have a group of students and if you know the admission number of each of the student, so you can just type the admission number of each of the students separated by commas. So this particular will be created for the student whose admission number has been entered up here in this box. And then we have the student category part here, where you will be able to create a specific particular for the student category selected here. So like let us say the staff students might have a separate particular, so you can just go to the staff students, and all the staff students who has been marked as staff students right from the admission part or in the profiles of will be liable to pay this amount that you will be entering up here. So once you've done this particular, you need to select a category, of course. So you need to select the fee category that you have created. So as I have said, the fee category is basically an empty template. So we need to select upon the batch here to which this particular is to be affected. So once you have done this create particular part here, you can go up with the discount. So supposingly if you want to give some discounts for your students, so you need to select the discount type here. So as we have three kinds of discount type here, called the batch, the student category, and the student. So if you want to create the discount for the whole batch, you can click upon batch, and then if you want to create a student, the discount type for a particular student category, you can do so. Then the student option from here creates a discount for that particular student. So here you need to type the name of this discount, the fee category in which the discount is to be applied for, and then the discount. And once you have entered the discount, which is obviously a number, you have to select the mode whether the discount that you've entered here is a percentage or is an amount. So now comes the generate find link. Generate find link is the latest feature that we have used up in this Fedena 3.0 version. So clicking upon generate find, you will be able to create some different finds for your student. So here you will be able to create some different finds with a find name. You can even create a new find, and then so this basically functions as to create some fines for your students based upon the date that they have chosen to pay. So let us say that if a person is choosing to pay a fee after a due date of 1, then the fine amount will be $2, and then if the due date and the date of payment has a difference of 2 days, then the fine amount would be $3 and so on. So you can just create some fine slabs here or the fine slab sets here, and now at a later period when you will be scheduling the fee collections, you can associate these fine slab sets so that these fine slab sets would be applicable to that particular fee collection. So this is all about the fees that we have been dealing about, the create fees. So once you have done the create fees and all, you need to schedule the fee collection. So to schedule a fee collection, you can go to create fee collection, select the category from here, and then the fee collection name along with the fine. So here you need to select upon which fine slab set is to be selected, and then the fee collection name, and then a start date, an end date, and due date. So the start and end date are basically the period, the start date of the period and the end date of the period of which in which the fee collection date can be paid, and then the due date is the one which keeps a track record so that the fine slab sets can come into play. So you can even see the fee collection dates from here. Just click upon a batch, type the name of the batch here, and then you will be able to see what all fee collections are there for a particular batch. So now you're done with the scheduling of the fee collection. You have created some fees. Now it's time to collect the fees from the student. So to collect fees from a student, you can click upon collect the fees link from here. Then once you're done with this, you have got two options where you submit the fees either by course or for each student. So if you want to submit the fees by course, then click upon fee submission by course and then select the batch and then the fee collection date, and now you will be able to see all the fees of all the students in that particular batch. So as you can see that this particular person Moon has not paid the fees. So if you want to pay the fees, you can pay the fees either by the payment modes from here, either by cash, by online payment, by check, or a DD. So you can even pay or make a payment notes of the same. So this is how you can pay the fees for a student. Now we have this option called fee submission for each student. So the fee submission for each student just helps you if your payment of fees of the student in your school has a random manner. So you can just click upon the name of the student. Like let us say we have this person called Abhishek who comes and pays the fees. So you can click upon this Abhishek and then select the fee collection date here, and then the pay fees is the link which will help you to pay the fees for this particular person. So as you can see, the fees has been paid. So once the fees has been paid, it will be available, it will be seen up from here. Next comes the fee structure. So if you want to see the fee structure of any of your institution, any of your students in your institution, you can just go to the student name, type the name of the student. Like let us say we have the student called SINDHU. So on clicking Sindhu name, you will be able to you will be redirected to a page where you will be able to see the fee collection date. So you can have a view of all the fee structure of this particular person. Now let's go to the fee defaulters part. So having created the fees, you have scheduled the fee collection and the student have paid. Some of the students have paid, and now some of the students are still to pay. So the students who have not paid the fees will be available in this fee defaulters link. So just click upon fee defaulters link and then select the course to know, and then the batch, and then the fee collection date. So this would further mean that as per the fee collection date, year start 2013 for 8 in the batch UKGB 2013 belonging to UKG course, these 3 persons have not paid the fees. So if you want to pay the fees of this particular person, you can click upon pay fees, which will redirect you to the page where the fees of these 3 students can be paid. Then we have this fees refund. So on clicking fees refund, you will be seeing up this feature as it's also a new feature which have been introduced in the Fedena 3.0. So you can even view the refunds here. You can create refund rules and apply the refund first to the students. So this is basically used when a particular person has paid the fees and wants a refund in case he or she has opted to come out of the college or school. So in such a case, you will be able to refund the fee. You would need to refund the fees for that particular person. So just click upon create fee collection, give the refund date a name, and then the validity and the percentage of the fees that has been paid. So a particular refund percentage will be deducted from that particular person. You can even view the refunds based upon the date selected. So if I'm selecting a date, let us say I'm going to Jan 1 and I would like to know all the list of all the students who have not paid the fees for this particular date, or the refund was not applied. So if you have some refunds for this particular date, this will be coming up in the box up here. Since we do not have any refunds done, it will be showing us no refunds exists. Then we have this fee imports and instant fees up here. Supposingly you have created a lot many fee collection dates for all of your employees, and now you would like to restrict some of the students to pay only a certain amount of certain number of fee collection dates. So now you can just click upon that particular person from this left pane here, and then if you want to mark the student, let us say Sam, and if you want to mark him to pay only a particular number of fee collection, so I'm marking this year started date fee collection here. So as per this, only this person here will be liable to pay year start, and the rest of the fee collection dates will not be applied for him. So whenever you go to this student defaulters list, so his name won't be coming up if this particular person he has not paid up for the rest of the fee collection dates. This is what we do when we use the fee imports plugin. You can even mark the instant fees. So instant fees is the place where you will be able to make some fees, some instant fees for the students. So basically, let us say that some of the fees can also be marked as fees like the funds raising and so on for from the students. So you can make an instant fees for, and this and the students will be able to pay this instant fees if you have scheduled them for each of the students. So this was all about the fees part. Now let's go upon to the category. So in category we have this link called category. So in category we have this create finance category. So we have this small built-in categories like donation, fee, hostel, instant fee, inventory, library, salary and transport. So apart from this, if you want to create a finance category of your own, you can just go upon to create finance category and create a category. So basically every transaction would be coming under any of these categories here. So you need to specify upon like which category this is to build, this particular transaction has to belong to. Moreover, if this particular category comes under income, so you can select this under income checkbox from here, and this particular category will be listed up whenever you will be making an incomes, whenever you will be recording the incomes for your transactions. Then we have this transactions link where you'll be able to manage all the expenses and incomes efficiently. So let us suppose that you want to record a new expense. Then you can type the name of the title of the expense and then the description, the amount, the date, and then the category. So all the expenses with all the things which has been marked as expense in the finance category will be listed up here. Moreover, you will also be able to see all the expenses that has been done from the expense link here. Just select the start date and the end date, and now you'll be able to see all the expenses that were done for this particular time period. Next we have this revert transactions part where you will be able to revert all the transactions made. Like let us say you have this fees and some of the student have paid a fees. So if you want to revert the payment of fees, then there's a close button from in the fees payment section of each of the students. So on clicking the close button, that particular finance transaction will be deleted and it will be available in this reverted transactions list. Then we have this add income, which is exactly the same as the add expense. Then we have this donations part. In donations, you need to type the name of the donor, a description, and then the transaction date on which the donation was made, and then the amount here. So this would record the all the donations made to your instance. So if you would like to have the list of all the donors, then on clicking donors, you will be able to get the required list. Then we have this automated transactions. So this would be quite handy in those places where you have some kind of cess that is to be paid to some third party in case a transaction is made. So like let us say if you are making a donation and a 5% of this money of the donation has to be deducted, as it may happen in some of the regions where you need to give a 5% donation to the government or some other third party. So you need to create an auto transaction here, and then the category is, as you can see, it's the donation actually, and then the percentage and the title and the description. So every time a donation of 100 rupees will be made, and when you mark it as 5%, 95 rupees will be marked as income, and then the 5% or the $5 would be marked as expense. Then we have this payslip. As I've said that when it comes to payslip, it's a two-way process. So the person who is in charge of payslip, who is in charge of the human resources, has to approve for a payslip, and then the person who is in charge of finance has to either approve it or reject it. So if you want to approve all the payslips of all the employees at a go, then he or she can use one click approve payslip, which will approve the payslip of all the employees at a go. But if you want to view the payslip and approve it for each of these employees one by one, then you can do so by selecting a department up from here and then a month, and then on clicking view you will be able to see the list of all the students, all the employees whose payslip has been traced up. So on clicking view you get a status of pending here, and then the approve button will approve the payslip, the reject button would reject it, and then you can also get the PDF report of this payslip also. Now let's go to the finance reports to see what all is there in the report section of finance. So like let us say if you want to see the report of a particular time period, like let us say all the reports, all the transaction reports, like I want to select the year 2013 Feb 1 till today. I will be able to get the list of all the transactions made for this particular date. Further, on clicking upon each of these particulars, you will get further insight upon this particular this transaction, this kind of transaction. Next, we have this compare transactions. We have the start date and then the end date, and then the start date and end date. So this will help you to create a or to compare the transactions of two different periods. And now on clicking get report, you will be able to get the statistical report as well as the graphical report of this transaction made. So like let us say in the last report that we have generated here, like let us say I am in this compare transactions part and or this report part, and I'm selecting this report up from here. So in this report, the statistical data will be followed by this graph here, which would give you the graphical representation of all the transactions. Further, similarly the compare transactions gives you the comparative graphical study and the comparative statistical study of all the transactions made for this particular period. And last but not the least, in this particular finance, we have this tally export plugin, which helps you to record all your transactions that was made from the application Fedena to tally. So you can even sync these details as a live sync. You can even make a bulk export of the same. So this is all about the finance part. Now let's jump upon to the examination section, as examination is really important when it comes to the student management ERP. From the examinations we have these settings. So first of all, the basic settings like the managing of grading levels, ranking levels, class designations are to be done. So let's start off with the set grading levels. In set grading levels you will be able to see this batch and you'll be able to mix the grade set. So the grade set that you have created here can be made as common and can also be made as batch specific. So if you want to create a grade set for a particular batch, then you can go to this particular batch and then add the grades. This is how the grading levels are to be done. Then we have something called the ranking levels. In this ranking levels, you select a course here and make some ranking levels for your students. Excuse me. You need to type the name of the ranking level here, the marks, and then the limit type. So let's go upon to the pre-created ranking levels in this test instance to have further insight upon this ranking level concept. So like let us say in this particular instance of the school, every student who has got a least mark of 40% in at least 4 subjects will be classified under the past ranking level. Similarly, a person who can be marked as detained when he has scored exactly 0% marks in at least 2 subjects. So this is the way how a sample ranking level must look like. So this ranking level and class designations that you will be making up will be reflected up in the reports part of the examination. So once you're done with this grading levels and ranking levels and class designations, you are all set to start up the examination module. So let's go to the exam management first of all. In exam management, you will be able to select a course. And then select a course from here. Now you need to select the batch in which the examination is to be created. And then on selecting the batch, you will be redirected to a page where you will see the list of all the exams created. So now to create a new examination, you can go to new exams from here, type the name of the examination and then the marks, whether it's marks and or grades or just marks. So let's type the name of an examination with the name of surprise test 9, and then the exam type is marks, and on hitting the save button you will be redirected to a page where you will be able to see the maximum mark and the minimum mark link up here. So here you need to type the maximum mark and the minimum mark for each of the students. So having done this, you need to type the start date and the start time and end time for each of these examinations. As you can see, the maximum marks and minimum marks are auto-filled once you have done it from the from the text field up above. So further you can even change it by going to the individual cells up there and typing up the maximum marks and minimum marks would register the marks up here. You can even go to this and type the maximum marks and minimum marks from here. Furthermore, having filled up the start time and end time for each of these subjects, you can see the last column of this table which says do not create. In such a case, examination for that particular subject won't be created, in which this thing has been enabled up. So on clicking save changes, the exam schedule will be published up for this particular group, for this particular batch. So you can see this at the last of as the last entry of the table. So on clicking publish exam schedule, you will be able to schedule the examinations for your students in this particular batch. So on clicking publish exam schedule, you'll be able to get a flash message which says the exam schedule has been published. So once exam schedule has been published, this will be available in the calendar of the students. So you can see the calendar of the student from here. As you can see that as we have marked today's an examination, so there's a blue dot up here and the details of above the same is available in the right side of this table. So having entered the exam schedule, now it's time to enter some marks for the students. So you can go to this exam group here click upon the particular exam group, and then on clicking upon each of the subjects, you'll be able to redirect it to a page where you can see where you can enter the marks of all the students. So you can enter the marks for each of the students up here like this, and on having done this, you can hit the save button. This way you can enter the marks of each of the students in your institution. So now once we have done with the entering up of the marks for each of the students, now you can go to the publish exam result, where you can publish the exam result of each of the students. So if this SMS settings has been done correctly, all the students will be getting an SMS from the application which would say that exam results has been published. So this is all about the exam scheduling, publishing, and seeing up of the results. And then if you want to see the results of the students, you need to go to this page which says the exams or the exams home page, and then click upon generate reports. Once you have clicked upon generate reports, you will be asked to select a course. So basically what we do is we make the application ready or update the application to the latest set of marks from this generate reports link. So you need to click upon this UKG, this particular course, and on clicking generate, reports will be generated, and these reports can be seen from the report center part. So let's go to the report center part. So here you will be able to get a variety of reports where you will be able to monitor the performance of the students individually, whether it is exam wise or subject wise or group exam reports. Now let's go upon to a particular kind of report. Let us say exam wise report, and then you need to select the course here, so the batch here, and then the exam group. On hitting the view button, you will be able to see the marks obtained by by a particular student in this batch. So again, this particular report that you'll be getting up will be a statistical report as well as the graphical report. So you can see the marks of the student based upon the average of the class average and his performance. So this is the certain example of the reports that you will be able to see from the report center. So this is all about the examination module. So before creating examinations, we need to do some sort of timetable and attendance. So as we have done the examinations, now let's go to the timetable and attendance link up from here. So in timetable, we have this create weekdays. So first of all, the weekdays are to be created while using the timetable. So we need to select upon which all weekdays are to be correct, and then you can set the class timing sets from here. So you can select the class timing set from here, and before creating this, if you want all these options to come up here, you need to go to the class timing sets. So on clicking upon new button, you will be able to create a class timing set here, and on hitting submit, this class timing set will be available in this drop down. So once you have done this class timing set, you can go to this particular link and then add the start time and end time for each of these class timings or the periods in the particular class timing set. So once you are done with adding up of the periods for each of this class timing set, you will be having a list of all these class timing sets, and then each of this class timing set that you have created will be having an assigned batch table and an available batch table. So if you want to assign class timing set 1 to this batch 10th A 2013, then you can go to 10th A 2013 and click upon the relevant arrow. So this way class 10th A 2013 would be having the class timing set 1 selected up. Then we have this create timetable. So to create a timetable, you need to select the start date and end date and hit upon the create button. Then we have this edit timetable. You will be able to edit the timetables up from here. Like let us say we have this timetable which says 11 Feb to 21 Feb. And if you want to edit the timetables, just click upon edit entries. Select the batch here, and then as you can see that this particular batch has been assigned a class timing set where they have only one class from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So I need to select the subject here, general knowledge, and then I'm selecting this Delnas. Delnas will be marked to teach GK or general knowledge from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Monday whenever this timetable is, as far as the timetable is concerned. This is the way how you can edit a timetable or create entries into the timetable. You can view the timetable from here, and then here comes the teacher's timetable where a teacher's timetable can be seen up. So as per this timetable from 21 Jan to 10 Feb, Radha would be teaching social for the batch IVA 2013 from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Mondays for the batch IVA 2013. So this is how this timetable is set up. Now we have this institutional timetable which will give you the timetable of this current day, and then we have a new feature introduced up in the timetable which says timetable tracker. In timetable tracker you have got these two options, swap timetable and swap timetable report. So let's swap a timetable first of all to get the report. So this swap timetable will be of great use when you have a timetable and a particular teacher is absent on this date. So like let us say for this UKGB 2013, so as you can see, for this particular batch IVA 2013, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. is being allotted to teacher Radha to teach social. So if this particular person has goes out for a leave, so this class has to be given to some other teacher. So you can even change the teacher to someone else, or the subject as a whole can also be changed up. So this way, the class which is allotted to Radha for the batch will for social has been now allotted to Samson, who belongs to this academics department and will be teaching social as a substitution for Radha from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on 3/2/2014. So this is what the swap timetable does. Now if you want to see the details or the report of this, you need to select the date here, and on hitting the search button you will be able to see that these are the replacements that were done. So as per this, now let's go to Preeti here, and on clicking view details, this would mean that a class which was earlier for Preeti has been replaced by Molly to teach chemistry in that particular batch. So this is what the timetable tracker does. So you can even get CSV report of the same. So this is all about the timetable here. Now let's go upon to some smaller things in Fedena, like the news and event creation. Then we have some other thing called the attendance module. So in attendance module, you will be able to mark the attendance of the students, like a like you will be able to get two options here, which is called the employee register and the employee report. Sorry, the student register and the student report. So you need to select the batch from here, and then the subject. So if you want to mark a particular person as absent for this for this time, so you can also do so by clicking upon this particular cell and then the reason, and then hitting the add button. That particular person will be marked as absent. So this actually looks like a real register where you'll be able to mark the absence just like in a real register. So the attendance report gives you the report of all the students who has been marked as absent. Further, we have a filter button here which will allow you to filter up, the data from here. So if you want to have a list of all the students who has an attendance of less than 98%, so on clicking filter button, you will be able to see the list of all the students who have an attendance of less than 98%. You can also get the PDF report of this filtered report. So this was all about the attendance module. Now let's go to the manage news, where you will be able to add the news and view all the news available here. So to view all the news here, just click upon view all news and click upon any of the news if you want to know more about them. So on adding a news, you will be able to see the news in the dashboard here. So this was all about the main features in Fedena. So now let's have a look upon the new UI. So in the new UI that you have here, you have this manage quick links which can be used up from here. So if you want to manage the quick links, you can just click upon this manage quick links button from here, and then you have the form where you can customize all the quick links that are to come on your dashboard. You can even browse upon to each of the other tabs to see what all things are there. Moreover, we have this manage dashlets where you will be able to manage all the or customize the front dashboard in Fedena. So this is all about the application in a nutshell. Now let's move upon to the queries so that we can have a quick deal upon all the questions coming up. So thank you for listening. Let's go upon to the query round to have all the queries coming up. Hello Apprendi, if you are able to hear me, please note that. So as this was the end of the webinar, we are closing the recording now.